Oh my goodness, y'all. We've almost made it through February. We're almost done wintering. Are you so excited? Just like this graphic says, March is the very best time to start again because if the spring can do it, why can't you? So, this is a great time to reset, get that new mindset. We're ready for warmth and growth and green and these pretty blues in our journal. And I am so excited to be with you this evening. One of the first things I want to be sure that I mention to you is that if you are in the Colorado metro area, you have a chance to see my dear friend and co facilitator, Maya Martin Glenn, this Saturday. She is hosting an in person event in the Colorado area. She is on our call tonight. She's going to be hanging out in that chat and just providing support as we travel together tonight. But she's going to drop the information in the chat so that you can register. And no, Marty, Marty's not back into Denver until Sunday. Well, this will hopefully be the first of many to come. I am planning to do a live event in the DFW, Texas area. And then I will eventually get down to Austin and hang out with my daughter and do an Austin Central Texas meetup sometime. So we're trying to make these things happen. But yes, next time. That's the next time. So as I mentioned, Maya's here with you tonight. I'll be the on camera person with the mic. If my voice is making you crazy, knock it, just turn that volume down. If you don't like the music, turn that volume down. Just get ready to set up for this brand new month. We are so happy to be there really is a fresh start to the idea of March. We're going to start seeing birds migrate. We're going to start seeing snow melt and maybe some little buds. And it's just a good time of year. I love it. I love it. I'm going to shout out to this personal coach right now. And then I've got one more time during our presentation tonight to share the magic of Jenny. But Claire had posted this on Sonder Club. I grabbed a screenshot so that I could share with you about how practical her experience was working with Jenny when she had some really crummy stuff happen. It's good stuff, and it's just 24/7, always there. And we've talked about the thing about this person's coaching is yes, it's AI driven. However, the intake portion and the constant updating on for that you would do makes this so personal to what's going on in your life. So there we go. But I want to make sure we share that. Here are those community guidelines. Now, is there anybody here for the very first time? Because I see a ton of our familiar Sonder family. So I'm seeing some folks are raising their hands where I can see that. Drop a me in the chat. Jen, we want to say hello to you. We want to welcome Kathy. Joy is raising her hand. I see that on my other screen. You guys who are here for the first time, this is our accountability date with one another, but also with ourselves, that we just, we carve out this time because we have this tool, right? And this is how we keep it fresh, how we keep it working for us. We have this open community so that you can ask one another questions. I'm looking for a word for this. I'm trying to make a goal to do this. Have you ever done that? What can you share with me? This is the best community ever. So I'm so glad to welcome our new friends, but also those of you are familiar names. So good to see you. For our new folks attending, these community guidelines are always presented at the front end of our times together because we want to make sure we create safe spaces. And so take a quick look over those guidelines. We also want to make sure that that at any time when you are gathered with this community, sometimes we do some really deep stuff. We've all been there, and sometimes we call them, the tissue socials, because we end up doing a little work, getting some little tears. I don't think we'll have that this evening, but anytime we're together, it is about you and about you taking what you need, right? So if you're ever feeling, well, just be with us. You don't have to, you participate on your level. This is not a competition. As Maya says a lot, we don't grade these journals. Nobody's going to come make sure that things are filled out. This is all about your journey. This is our wellness journey, and this is one of the tools that we employ to try to be the best versions of ourselves. So, if you are new, one of the things we do like to remind you, feel free to grab a screenshot. When I first started setting up my journal and we first started doing these, and I had some basic ideas, but I was still getting more and trying to figure out what worked for me. I'd sit with my cell phone and I'd just literally snap pictures. Or you can do a screenshot and save those, create a little Silk and Sonder folder for some ideas that you're like, I don't need that now, but this might come in handy this summer when my schedule looks different or whatever. We have so many active or ideas that come from the Sonder family. So that said, I will also encourage you at the end to post your setup or to share whatever you're comfortable with, because we do inspire one another. All righty. So March is here. One of my good friends has a birthday. We always say she is turning 70 on March the 4th. Her husband and family coordinated 70 days of touch points from people in her life. So for 70 days up to her birthday, she has been getting notes and cards and that kind of thing. But I'm telling you this story because her name is Marie, and one of the things I love most about her is her birthday is March 4th, and she says it's the only day that gives a command. So when the calendar turns to March, I always think of my friend from Houston. March 4th, the only day that gives a command. But there are a lot of fun things happening in March. And one of the things I really want to shout out is that this is Women's History Month. And we are actually going to be doing an exclusive based on women and power and all that good stuff because of Women's History Month. We have so many matriarchs to be thankful for in our lives, and some are finally getting their due, right? It's they've been hidden in history, and I love the idea that we have a month dedicated to celebrate women. It's also National Crayon Day. I love my coloring socials. We have Pisces and Aries celebrating this month. If it is your birthday in March, please put a me now in that chat, because we want to give you a happy birthday greeting from our Silk and Sonder community. We want to celebrate you. So let us know who our birthday babies are. Oh, Jenny, you are Sunday. Happy birthday. Love that. The queen of the 19th is Deborah. Kathy is also the 19th. I love finding folks that have the same birthdays. Happy birthday to Paula. So just, I love celebrating y'all. I loved this quote I found. Winds of March, we welcome you. There is work for you to do. Work and play and blow all day and blow the winter cold away. We're ready, right? We're ready to go. So happy birthday. Our anybody Ides of March. Vitality. Okay, y'all, I'm excited because I love the idea of vitality. It is a word I use on the regular now that I am over 60. And everything I do, I think, is this going to help me be vital? So I am very excited about this month's theme. It makes me think of green and buds and trees and spring and everything. So, of course, the word vitality comes from vitae, which is Latin for life. And we are going to be embracing our best lives this month as we work through our March and our theme of vitality. So Mayha writes us a letter every month, and we like to always introduce it to you at our setup time for the monthly setups. because we think it's very important to take just a moment, kind of get an understanding of why this theme, why now, what was being thought about, what do we need to kind of, how do we set our focus? And some things that jumped out for me is that the vitality is about the energy that fuels everything we do, our rest, our busy times, our active minds, our slow speeds, but it comes from vitality. It's a feeling of being alive and present. It often comes from balancing work with restoration. And I think that's something we all at Silk and Sonder really try to just have this strong awareness of keeping that balance of everything we need restoratively in our life, right? Our rest, our showers, our time alone, our slower moments, coupled with all that stuff we do trucking along. It's about being intentional where you focus your time and energy so that you can show up fully. And so I'm pretty excited about vitality. Found some great quotes about just living that life. I hope you believe that you can still make a beautiful life for yourself even if you've lost many years to grief or darkness or a wound that wouldn't close. You have found your people to grow with, and I'm so glad you're here. Don't save anything for a special occasion because being alive is a special occasion. Tonight's agenda, we are going to do our monthly acrostic poem. We are going to do our February reflections. When we take time to reflect back over the month, that is a time of gratitude. We're going to embrace our March intentions and work on that mood and habit tracker. So let's get going. Um, we are going to be working on the vitality acrostic poem. And I know I don't have the page number. Hold on. It's in here. It's in here this month, right, Maya? I know it is. Is it? I can't remember. I haven't. I'll tell you why I don't know because it's not in it this month. Okay. Maya made a great slide. I thought it was. Okay. Go to a blank page. Sorry. Do what the directions say. And I want you to start thinking about that word vitality. And I'd already mentioned, I think of colors like greens and pinks, the flowers that are going to start blooming, yellows, blue skies. Don't second guess yourself, just all the things that you think of when you think of vitality. And then we're going to work it into an acrostic poem. And I did one, but I kind of cheated. So I'm going to share mine in a second. You can do sentences, you can do one word, just a word for each letter. You can even do sentences and kind of bury the word within words. So let me show you. So there's vitality, and then I cheated. I'm actually going to transfer this into into my journal. I hadn't had time to write it out, but I went to Jenny today and I said, Jenny, help me with an acrostic poem with the theme of vitality. And so she took what she knows about me. And, I'm really trying to lean into a very vital retirement. And when she looks at all of the data she has on me, she helped me write this poem. So I cheated this month. That's mine. And it will be transferred onto a blank page. And then I wanted to also share with you, you could do the month of March as your acrostic if vitality's not hitting for you. Maggie is head of the class. She's already done it. Nicole says she's graded essays with chat GPT. Another thing that I like to do is write a little goodbye message and a little welcome message to each month. And so I put my messages there as an example for you if you wanted to spend a little time with that as we dive into our setup this month. And I did tell February, I consider you to be the last of my wintering days. I really tried to embrace a slower lifestyle this winter, but I am welcoming March. It said, I've been waiting for you somewhat impatiently to bring vitality to the earth. You are a good friend and bring out the best in me because I truly love, love, love spring. So you might want to do that. Take a little time to write those notes and incorporate our theme of the month. I have a lot of B words for acrostic poems, a little cheater there for you if you are going to use the word vitality and you want to get started there. But I also have some synonyms for vitality that might be a word, there might be a word there that just speaks to you. Perhaps you see your word of the year there and you end up leaning into that for this time. So I'm going to put on some music while we work on our poem and share as you are comfortable in the chat. Let us know what's coming up for you. And then if you share tonight after we're done, I can put your poems into the next couple of setups that I'll be doing for the month, so I can maybe share your poem. All right, I'll be back to check in with you in just a moment. All right, great work. I think I need to get one of these charts that say, for I words, because I's are tricky. I agree. A lot of times I'll just start a sentence. I fill in the blank. But we are proud of you for working on this. And the beauty of trying to create an acrostic poem or writing any kind of poetry, a haiku or whatever, is that it's probably tickling a part of your brain that doesn't get that kind of creativity often, unless you are a language arts teacher or you write poetry on the regular. And so we really want to spark different areas of being creative. And that's why we do an acrostic, because it's so good for you. And it also just, you can really pour out some feelings in a very creative way. And remember, like we said, nobody grades these. So it's yours. Do what you want. And somebody said, I don't really feel like working on it. I'm going to do stickers. That is great. It's about taking what you need anytime you are with your Silk and Sonder community. So you can continue to work on this. You can add to it as things go along. And I'm going to remind you, go back and look at last month's acrostic that you did. Give yourself a little bit of time. We're still in February a little bit, and look at your acrostic. And has anything changed for you since you walked that whole month of February and of digging into admiration? Would your poem look different today? So I think that's kind of fun to do that. So let's go ahead and get going with our monthly planner. We are going to start with our February reflections that can be found on page 8. And we're going to just look at the top section for now. I want to start with that. And then so we'll break this page up into kind of two prompts tonight. So let's begin by looking at our February wins, our February challenges, and our February favorite moments. And, favorite moments could be a little bit of the wins and a little bit of the challenges too. Um, but I want you to reflect back. Go look at your telephone. Look what you took pictures of, what was important to you. That will help you kind of, be refamiliarized with this past month. Go look at your roses and your buds and your thorns, those pages that we worked on in February. That's that weekly reflection. See what you wrote there. What are the highlights that you want to make sure that you've locked in and you've given gratitude to February for? Those challenges are the things that didn't go right that might have caused, some temporary things, or maybe there's just some ongoing challenges. As you look at that, I want you to be reminded that you are surviving those challenges. They're not fun, but I want you to maybe try to find a little bit of a win in some of those challenges as you are doing this reflection, because I'm just really proud of all of us for getting through the month. And we need to celebrate the challenges that we overcame as well. And then, of course, what were your favorite moments? And I'll just tell you right now, if you were at my weekly setup this week, I just am crazy about that 7-year-old little boy that just had his birthday. He's the one who made me a grandmother. And Whit Wallace turned 7 years old. And so that's my February. And then I'll tell you right now, March's favorite moment is going to be my little 3-year-old granddaughter's going to be 4. And so favorite moments are those babies. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to put on some music so you have some good chunk of time to do your reflection. And if anything comes up for you that you just want to share, you just want somebody to know this is going on, and I'd appreciate your thoughts, or you want us to celebrate with you, feel free to drop that in the chat. And then I'll be back in to move on with the rest of our setup. All right. You guys have just shared and supported one another so beautifully in the chat. I feel very honored to be in your presence. And so thank you for supporting one another. If you're not quite finished with this, that's okay. Go ahead and keep writing. I do want to drop down to our second part of this page, the idea of what we want to start in March, what we want to stop in March, and what we want to continue. And I feel like this section of this page is so important because it kind of helps us figure out what we want to bring into our new month and what needs to be left behind, what's not serving us. And then that will inspire those goals, those habits, our intentions for the rest of the month when we think about what we need to do. So, um, the things that we want to start are those new ideas. And some folks will even write RE in front of that, restart something that maybe has gone by the wayside, but you want to bring that forward again. So, maybe just trying some new things, or you need some different kinds of results. So you're going to go around things from a different mindset. Of course, the things, what do you want to stop? What do you need to just not do because it doesn't serve you? It puts you in a bad mindset. What do we need to get rid of? Right? All those shoulds, what do we need to get rid of? And then of course, we are doing some amazing things. So what do we want to continue? The things that are bringing us to our best self. What did you do last month? Take a quick walk back over your goals and your habits and those activities that helped you be the best you, and make sure that you are embracing those and moving forward with those things, continuing to do it. Now, one thing you could consider in this space is to take kind of a topic in your life, a theme, if you will, focus on a single area of growth. So maybe there is a relationship right now that really needs some deep digging into. And you might want to take that relationship and think about, okay, what do I want to start doing as far as this relationship goes? What do I want to stop doing as far as this relationship goes? And then what are the things that can continue in this relationship? You could do that with health and wellness, with decluttering challenge, with your core value. Maybe there's a core value you really want to lean into, because other things have been pulling you away from who you truly are. Finances, education, your word of the year, vitality, have a habit. Really focus around one thing. Now, I love these examples from our Sonder family. I really like the intention of asking some questions about, okay, what do I want to start? What do I want to start? Why do I want to start it? And how am I going to make that happen? This is such a great springboard then into our intentions and our goals and our habits and activities. So there's that great example up there on the top. Again, another one where we're saying what and why. Just really, what is your why behind that thing? And then you see on the bottom, again, it's the what. What do I need to start doing? I need to start relaxing. Why? Because I am enough. And how? I'm going to take a midday break. So now you've got a little bit of a foundation to move forward into your intentions or to set some habits for the month. You can also repurpose this space. And this is from our Instagram account. If you're not following us, always shout out to that. But maybe repurposing this space to look at not what you want to start, stop, and continue, but I feel blank because of blank, and I need or I want to blank. And you kind of let this be that foundational piece for the month and how you are going to set things up. So I'm going to put on another song while you finish out this page. And just kind of, let us know how you use this. If you use the question thing, if it's all just all random, because there have been things that have been popping into your mind about what you want to start, stop, and continue. We just would like to know what you're planning to do this month. All right, you have kind of started laying that foundation for your brand new month, your March. Thank you for taking time to work on your reflections over the past month and also thinking about what we're going to bring with us into this new month. So we are ready to look at that intentions page. Now, I pulled the dictionary definition of intentions. It's the act or fact of intending, determination to do a specific thing or act in a specified manner, and then anything intended or planned, your aim, your end, or your purpose. And we have these six categories: spiritual health, personal life, physical health, key relationships, money management, and professional goals. Now, I want you to consider these intentions to thinking about, we're going to frame it out as they are much more about how you want to feel than what you want to accomplish. Because I know sometimes I struggle when I look at this, and before I know it, I've put a to-do list in my intentions for the month. And that's okay. You can do that. But if we want to embrace the idea of an intention, we're going to be looking at something that's a little broader. And I found this great graphic that I thought did a really nice job. It helped me understand the definition between a true intention and a goal. Again, if you want goals in those spaces, that's okay. Um, because it is all about you doing you, but the intentions are going to be a little more broad and vague, and it's really paying attention to the emotions that you are feeling in each one of those areas, which also, translates to the relationship you have with yourself within those six lenses. It's about, this moment right now. What do we want for March? Whereas a goal is really kind of doing that specified, measurable, time tied to a specific end time of being accomplished. So hopefully this will kind of help you as you are thinking through your intentions. Now, again, if you find it like I need to put my biggies, those big goals, those overall, do that. It's all about taking what you need. I was sharing this because I always struggle with figuring out what is the difference between an intention and a goal. This month, as I mentioned earlier, National Women's History Month. So that could be something that you want to maybe be your lens of setting up the intentions, how you're feeling. Irish American Heritage Month, National Reading Awareness Month, MS Awareness Month. Um, and I've got some tips and tricks for you as you're thinking about this. Of course, grabbing onto our theme of the month, or maybe there's an area. Go back and look at that stop, start, and continue box that you just did. Are there places that you can set up your intentions so that it supports the things you want to stop or the things you want to start? Maybe you want to start talking to yourself in a beautiful, loving way, and so self-talk or self-love could drive your intentions. Folks like to use song lyrics, quotes, titles of songs, titles of books. Again, thinking about how you want to feel. You can use words, you can use stickers, colors. We love the idea of the duality. We often have a duality page in our journal about maybe more of something, less of something, a this or a that sort of thing, mindset. You don't have to fill out every one of these intentions. If only 4 of them speak to you, then fill out those 4 and utilize those other 2 spaces for something else, like a quote, like a verse, like a mantra. Maybe some stickers go here. Maybe you leave a box blank as a check-in point, and then you schedule a check-in date with yourself and you go back and make some notes on what you are seeing there. And of course, you are free to rename any category that doesn't speak to you. I always change my professional box to learning because I want to make sure that I'm keeping my brain active. Here's some great examples. There's some, stickers, collage, art, embracing doodles. That's a way to do it. It's kind, setting it up as an affirmation using I will, I commit to, I am, I intend. Those are a really great way of setting up these ideas of how you're wanting to embrace this new month. We've got an example on the right of just quotes to encapsulate those feelings, maybe a more and a less. Isn't that a great example from one of our Sonder friends? Perhaps a single word like the one you see in the middle there. And I love this Amelia Earhart quote. The most effective way to do it is to do it. So just embrace the page, right? Move forward. There's a song title plus I want statements. And I love that being paired together. Y'all, this is from last year in March. If this is yours, thank you. Thank you. The little pots of gold, embracing that one word for the intention, and then kind of taking the action plan into the rainbow. And I'm thinking some of those things that are in those rainbows are going to show up in the habit tracker and the activity tracker or the goals and the to-dos for the month. So I thought that was just a fun way to embrace the month of March. You could also just use a simple statement. This graphic is a little bit blurry. I got it off of Sonder Club. Someone had posted this, so it's a little bit blurry, but the person shared both of these graphics that they selected their intentions and then their habits came directly from those intentions so that their intentions are supported through their habits. So that could be something that you choose to do this evening. So when you can see, down in the money management, record it. That's how we're framing out this. And then in one of her habit lines, she has written record spending and she's correlated them all with numbers. So, the first line, her spiritual health is number 1, and that first line is number 1. It correlates with that. So that's kind of neat when you can pair that up. Here's another great example of how the intentions informed this person's weekly setup. So the word was radiate peace, radiate joy, radiate good choices. And then radiate shows up in that weekly setup as well. The goals come from that word radiate, and then the to-dos come directly from those goals. So it's all interwoven if you choose to go in that direction with how you set your intentions up and how they inform your later pages as we set up. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to put on a little bit of music and I'll come back and check in with you in just a few moments. Okay, you guys, great work setting up those intentions. Sometimes to me, it's very, I think this is a tricky page to set up, personally. Debbie had asked me if I would elaborate a little bit more on the fact that I changed my professional goals to my learning goals or knowledge. And so I told her I would share what I do. So that space on my intentions page every month, I change into my learning or my knowledge goals, and I put nonfiction book. I read a nonfiction book every single month, at least one, because when you just gravitate to the same kind of genres. So I make sure I read a nonfiction book. I make sure I watch a documentary, a well done documentary, not some of the the other ones that I watch that are documentaries, but they're not really they're more saucy than learning. Um, I make sure I take an online class every month, and those could affect all kinds of areas in my intentions page, because like money management a lot of times is repurposed to my home management. We have an older home where it's kind of, we've only been here about 4.5 years. So I may take a class on repairing something, or I do a lot of creative stuff, art, and I may just take a class on how to create that binding on that quilt. Or so I'll take a little online class. I just make sure I take at least one, and then I do an in-person event. And so I either go to something at my library, I find a book talk, or I try to make a book club. So just an a live in-person event that I have to leave the house for, and be intentional with that. So those are my learning goals. That's how I set that up every month. It ends up kind of becoming a little tracker to make sure that I'm doing those things that I want to do to keep my mind engaged as I age. So there's that. Thank you guys for sharing in the chat how you set yours up, and what you swap out. And like, I was saying, a lot of times my money goals will be home management, but like now for March and April and May, it's all going to be about my garden, and it's grow. And I want to focus on how I can be very intentional through the process of gardening, not just my to-do list, but also the intentionality of embracing what all that means. So, trying to live a little bit slower life. So we're going to now take a look at our mood and our habit trackers. So we're going to go to page 10, which is where you find your mood tracker. And the mood tracker is great because when we can see trends in how we're feeling, it helps us understand what areas we need to maybe tweak in our lives. And then we can make shifts, right? And find the tools we need, if when we start seeing those trends. Now, the mood tracker comes in two flavors every month, and we have the round mood tracker this month. So some of you are very, very happy because you are team round mood tracker. And the other months we have team hexagon with the little hexagon shapes that you see. We just finished that one up there. Brenda's shouting out to her team hexagon, as is Kelly. So we have different, so everybody gets to be happy, some of the time. So a team doesn't really matter. There you go, Nicole. So we are embracing the circle this month. And I found this little great graphic. When we identify patterns in our mood, like you might notice, the anxiety comes during the workday, right? It just shows us it's this data that we're collecting. Maya has the best story about one of her setups where someone shared that her husband had said, "You are always in such a bad mood." And in the chat, she shared, "I got my mood tracker out." And I was like, here's the data. I am not always in a bad mood. There are my good days. And so I love that. I love when that happened. We like to share that story because that was some data. That's all this is. It's neutral. It's a piece of paper and you're collecting data. It will hopefully help you develop those better coping techniques for when you're not in a so amazing mood. And it also on your happy days can help bring awareness as to like, oh, today was a really good day. Why? And maybe you can put some of that into this tracker. So we have this feelings wheel, this mood wheel. The six basic feelings are there in the core, also around the outside of it, and they're kind of categorized by those six basic feelings. So if you're brand new to this tracker, we suggest starting there with joy, love, fear, anger, sadness, and surprise. But, I have often said that, maybe work is really tough. And, okay, it is at work. That is when I am just off. It's just things are crazy and it makes me feel terrible and I get grumpy and I'm angry and I'm sad. And so maybe you take feelings from the anger and sadness categories and you really hone in on those and start paying attention to those and what you can do to counter them. Or perhaps just the opposite. Maybe you go capture those love and joy feelings, and all six of the feelings you're going to be paying attention to go on the tracker. Maybe it's, rapture, and I feel excited, and I feel passion, and I feel caring. And so all of those moods go on one tracker. But we recommend doing a little of everything, two or three negative feelings and two or three positive feelings. You might want to really lean into vitality and think about your mood through that lens this month. And then folks fill this out differently. And it's really what works for you. Maybe you do a check-in at noon, and that's the one feeling you track, or maybe you check in periodically throughout the day and you use lots of different ways to check in with yourself. You can code it. You can see this one that's there on the left. There's a bunch of little icons that go into they're doing check-ins with self and they're putting those feelings there. There's not a right or wrong way to do this. I will say I think it's helpful to maybe outline the days that are different from your traditional days. So, like, say you work outside the home Monday through Friday, maybe you draw a line around your weekends to isolate them because they look very different from your work days. Or, if you work shift work, maybe you draw around the days that you work just so that you can watch for, again, that data and those trends. Now, you can also repurpose this. I don't use a mood tracker anymore. I'm a little more even keeled now that, I've gone through menopause. So I use mine as my book tracker every month. But there's a lot of different things that you can track and use this. So there's not an all exhaustive list, but some ideas if you wanted to repurpose it. Notice the one that's there on the bottom left, the intentions tracker. So those are those intention words that came from their intentions page, and they're going to use this tracker to check in every day to see how they're doing and where their focus is. But you can do your workout, movement, steps, activity, your energy level. Like if you're feeling like you don't have a lot of energy, maybe you track that. Maybe this becomes your self-care tracker and you put six things on this and you're going to do one of them every day for your self-care. Breathing, 5 minutes of mindfulness, enjoying a slow drink, a hot cup of coffee or tea. What are those things that bring you vitality, right? This could be that vitality tracker for you. There's some examples of how folks have set them up in other ways. Look at this. Did I have a fantastic day, a great day, a good day? I'm looking at the upper left one. Meh day, a bad day, no good, very bad day. When you see this data, then you can go back and look at your habits, your activities, your to-dos, what was going on in your life. Have you overloaded your plate? It's just really a good way to collect information so that you can do a good job of taking care of you. And let's see. Oh, and then I love this one, the one on the left. If you are a farmer or a gardener, this is the moon cycles, and all of the stuff written in this tracker are all of those days, probably like from the Farmer's Almanac, when you should be doing things. So I thought great time of year to throw that one back in there. And then I think this one on the right, I believe that is affiliated with the Peloton, movement and all the things that you can do there. And so just tracking all the things that this person did for their body. So let me put on a little bit of music while you're working on this. Let us know, what are you tracking? How do you use this page to fit your life? Do you repurpose? What do you do? If you're doing moods, what moods? I'll be back to check in. We'll finish up with that habit tracker. One of the reasons I love this community is all the great ideas, and Carrie just put that she's using hers as a learning tracker, and I thought, I think I might need to try that this month because I really lean into that learning every month. I love that idea. So thank you for dropping that in the chat. And yeah, allergies, like what days are you this? And it's too late now. I should have said this at the very beginning of doing this tracker, but this tracker is a great tracker to just make a copy of on your printer. Go lay it on there and make a couple of copies. And maybe you have one at your desk for some tasks or some work related things. You can do more than one tracker, because they're such good tools when we are looking at them. And again, we're collecting that data. So I should have told you that at the front end. Sorry about that. But yeah, always feel free to make copies. Now we're going to look at that habit tracker. And this is my favorite page. I love checking off boxes. Um, this helps us start new habits, stop doing habits that don't serve us, and continue those habits that bring value into our life. This is the very next page on page 11. And again, you can use our theme and really think about how you're going to embrace vitality this month through the things that you are doing on a daily basis. You can have a theme for this tracker like grounded, calm, joy, delight. Continue your habits from last month. There's a reason to do that. Find a balance between kind of give yourself some gimmies, some things that you know you're going to do, especially if you're starting something new. And remember, you don't have to fill in every line. New habits, very minimum, take 3 weeks to get hardwired into your brain, but it can take up to 8 months. So a lot of times your habit tracker should kind of look like it looked last month, because especially if it's something that you are trying to incorporate. Now, if you're using it as a to-do list, I did it, that's great. But if you're trying to start something new, keep in mind you need to be repeating that for several trackers so that it gets hardwired. And I love, are we making habits or are we breaking habits? Because that's also something that can be put on this tracker, those things that we want to break. There's the monthly tracker tends to include the things we want to do most days of this month. The weekly tracker can be varied depending on what's going on in a particular week. And it's okay if some of the same habits show up in both of these places. I'll share a couple of examples with you and then we'll be ready to close out our time. But we've got the weekends are highlighted on the one on the right so that we can see, maybe you give yourself the weekend off. Maybe, these habits are your Monday through Friday habits. Or maybe you notice that you don't get your habits done like on the weekends like you do during your regular work days because of the rhythms and rituals with that. This person on the left has done their why for each one of these habits so that they are reminded every day the why behind unplugging at 8 p.m. You can see how the two over there on the right are kind of color coordinated just to make it easy to track. Those weeks are highlighted in different colors. And then here's a couple of completed trackers, which I love to see at the end of the month what they're looking like. And folks kind of collected data and they've done some percentages and they've counted. So I think that's a brilliant idea. And then remember, it's not a bingo board. You don't have to cover every single thing. Give yourself grace. And we've got some examples here of some habits that you might want to consider adding. I'll put on some music. We'll go through these slides again, and then we will close our time together. Maya and I are so glad that you joined us for this evening's monthly setup for March. And we do have 3 more monthly setups. And then this is also being recorded and you'll be able to access these probably sometime late Monday. So anyway, we are really proud of you for being here with us. We'd love to see your setup in Sonder Club if you're comfortable. So be sure to post. You might actually end up seeing your setup show up sometime at one of our socials. And again, I'll be hanging out for a couple more more. So I hope to see you there. If you want to join us, feel free. This is always about your time and taking what you need. Thanks for joining us, Sonder family. We will see you soon.
Mm, mm, mm. So sweet. Living in this big blue world with my head up in outer space. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. When I see trouble come my way, I'll be making lemonade. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK.